welcome to this class. Is an intro to Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm going to be taking you right from the beginning till the first class. So I'm going to be taking you on how to start a project and how to. Before we do that, let's quickly launch our Adobe Premiere. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2019. So I'm going to be showing you how to get started, how to create a project, how to create sequences, how to import your media, your footages, and how to mark in and mark out. And I'm going to show you around frame size, frame rates, and a whole lot of others. So Adobe Premiere Pro has launched. If you also have Adobe Premiere on your Mac, your PC, I will advise that you get a 2019 version so that we can be on the same page. So the first thing you need, so these are my projects, the project I have done in the past 3 months, 2 months, 7 minutes ago, 2 months ago, 16 days ago, and so on and so forth. And the first thing you need to do is to create a new project when you open up your interface like this. So let's get started. You create a new project and you name the project. You can name it lesson 1, or you can say Premiere intro. Let's say intro to Adobe Premiere. Then you select a location for the name. So you come here, you say browse, and you can create you know your folder, you know your file, so create something for yourself. So I'm going to be creating my own on inside this folder. I'll create a new folder. I'll say intro to Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'll create and I'll choose the folder. So if you look here, you see new project, you see the name of the project, and you see the location. I just created a folder in that location. This is the path to the location. Then your video rendering and playback, your system, your Mac or your PC will automatically select something for you. So I will advise that you leave it as it is, except you have a more sophisticated one that you might want to choose. But for the purpose of this class, for the benefit of this class, I'm going to advise you to leave it as it is. Then you come to your display format, leave it as timecode. I like to use timecode. Your audio display format, leave it as audio samples, and your capture format, HDV. I only have HDV here. So what this does for you is asking you in what format do you want to capture your media, your footages. Because in the past, what we used to do before the advent of memory cards, and the SSDs and the HDD and all the rest, what we used to do is to connect our our camera or DV deck to our laptop, to a box, then from the box to our PC. So you play direct from your DV deck and capture through composite or through Firewire. I don't know if you know what that is. You can Google it, Firewire or composite. So that's what we used to do. But nowadays we have memory cards. So all you need to do is just to insert your memory card from your camera straight to your laptop, and you start working. Everything is easy now. Technology is really improving. So this is what you do. Then you allow it to display the project item and label color for all instances. Just let it be as it is. If it is not selected on your own panel, you can quickly select it. Then you say okay. Now when you say okay, Adobe Premiere Pro interface will be open like this, and I'm sure you are surprised. You're like, what is going on here? Where am I going to start from? Don't worry, I'm going to take you through on how to go about this. So when you get here, let me quickly introduce you to the panels. So here you have your source panel, source. Here you have your program panel, which is your monitor. Here you have your project panel, which is where your media, your effects, and every other thing will come. Then here you have your timeline. This is where all the work happens. This is where all the magic happens. So whatever you do on the timeline, you're going to be monitoring it on your program panel. So the first thing you need to do is to create a sequence. Now, how do you create a sequence? You can either import media and drop it on the timeline. You can drag and drop media on the timeline and it's going to create a sequence. But what I like to do is to create the sequence myself, and this is going to give you an edge. It's going to, since you know what you did, how, if you are the one that shot the video, your frame size, your frame rate, so you want to input all those in your sequence. Now Adobe Premiere is very smart. Even if you import a media that has a different frame size and frame rate, it is going to ask you that, do you want me to change your sequence settings to match the media that you have just imported? So it's pretty easy. So I like to create, for the benefit of this class, let's create a sequence by ourselves. So how do you do that? You come to File and New and Sequence. Now getting to sequence here, you're going to see sequence presets and you see available presets. Here you have Ari. Ari is a camera name, so if you have shot with an Ari, so you can simply just pick one of the settings here. But I have shot with a DSLR, digital single lens reflex. I'm sure you know what that means. Digital single lens reflex. Digital means the sensor in the camera is digital, is not analog. And single lens, of course, it has one lens and reflex. It sees with one lens. It sees, or whatever you do with one lens. So my frame size is 1920 by 1080. That was the setting I used on my camera, and the frame rate is 24 frames per second. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and if you come to the right side here, you're going to see the the attributes to this setting. So you see your frame size 1920, height 1080, your frame rate, aspect ratio, and all the rest. So you can quickly go ahead and name your sequence. You can name the sequence here. Let's say lesson 1, and you say okay. So when you say okay, you notice some changes. You notice that your timeline now has the time code like we selected from our project. You see the timing here. Our program panel, which is the monitor, is ready to show us whatever we are doing, whatever we're going to be doing on the timeline. Then we have our project panel. It's showing our sequence already. This is the sequence we just created, lesson 1. And you can have different kind of view. You can have the list view, you can have the grid view, the icon view, freeform view. You can have all manners of view that you want, but I like to use the list view. Now, so what do we do next? If you are taking something away from your country, your country of residence right now, you're taking something away, you're taking something out, what are you doing? Correct, you are exporting. But if you are bringing anything in, what are you doing? You are importing. So let's apply the same analogy to our Adobe Premiere. If you want to bring in any media, be it your video, your audio, images, and whatever you want to bring, you're going to import. So how do you import your media into Adobe Premiere Pro? There are different ways to do that. You can come to File and say Import. It will bring a dialog box. You can also say Command I, or if you are using a PC, you can say Control I, or you can double click here on your project panel. Double click, and it's going to bring the same option. You can also open a folder. Where is the folder? File. You can open a folder, then drag and drop. You can drag and drop. You drag and drop. You see, so you can drag and drop. Let me quickly delete that. delete that. So how do you delete? You can just press backspace on your keypad. Okay, so let's import a media. I'm going to double click here, and I have this interview that I would like to, I would like us to work on. So I've selected the file, then you say import. So now I have my file here. So there are different ways to bring this file to your timeline. You can easily drag and drop it to the video timeline. Oh, sorry, I have not introduced you to to the timeline. This is your video timeline, and this is your audio timeline. So you have video 1, video 2, video 3, and so on and so forth. As you keep adding more videos, the video timeline will be increasing, and your audio timeline is just 3, because definitely whatever you do, we are going to end up having just 2 audios, maybe the main voice and a background sound. So that's that about that. Secondly, or alternatively, you can drag your video or your media to the source panel. How do you do that? You make sure that your source panel is selected here, because if you look here, you see source, you see effects, audio clip mixer, and metadata. So make sure that the source is selected before you drag. So let's drag and drop. Now we are going to talk about marking and mark out. Let's play this video and see what is going to happen.
Assalamu alaikum. My name.
Now, if you noticed this video, the lady hesitated in the beginning before she started talking. So I don't want those hesitation. But if you play it from this timeline, because I just dragged the main video here. So if you play it on this
Assalamu
timeline,
alaikum.
everything is playing. You can also edit it from here, But let me teach you marking and mark out. So I want to let's delete this first on our timeline. How did I delete? I just press backspace. If you are using a PC, just hit the delete button. Now I want this video to start from where she started talking. So how do I do that? Let's play. She started talking around 4 seconds. So I'm going to mark in from that spot. So how do I mark in? I can click this marking, or I press I on my keyboard. So let's mark in. So I want the video to start from here, and I want it to end. Let's assume I want it to end here. Of course, you would have listened to the video, watched the video, and listened to the audio and know where you want to mark out. But let's assume that I am marking out here. So I'm going to click this. Now you see that. So my video, this video is going to play from here to here. Now I can increase or reduce the marked area. As you can see, can you see that? I can do this. So whatever I have marked here is going to be showing on my timeline if I drag it to the timeline. So all this space, this empty spot will not show. I'm not going to be able to see all this on my timeline. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my marked area to my timeline. Then we start editing. So this is the end of this class. I hope I've been able to introduce you to Adobe Premiere Pro. I've shown you how to create a project, how to name the project, how to select location for your project, and I've also shown you how to create a sequence, and how to import media into your project panel, how to mark in and mark out, and how to drag media onto your timeline. I'll see you in the next class.